Hey, welcome to Nakama News. I'm your host, Jordan. This is my co-host, Jamie. Starting off with the news today, are you having trouble paying your taxes? Have you considered erecting a border and pretending you don't own half of your land? Speak with your accountant. This might be an option for you.
New reports of a cyborg Jesus. No, this is not a joke. Consider directing your prayers to our new semi robotic Lord and Savior.
In other news, are you afraid of having kids? We recommend signing your girlfriend up for the army and having her deployed far, far away from you. We're bringing you 1097 today. This is Nakama News.
Nakama News, you'll see friendship when you view Nakama News. Well, everyone lends a helping hand or two. I'm glad you could stick around for a minute now. You're always welcome back. Nakama News.
All right, welcome back, newsies. That's what I'm calling them now, Goldie.
Newsies.
Yeah, they are
We'll see if that one
newsies.
catches on.
Every big YouTube channel needs to call their people something. So we
I feel like you have to earn that.
We have 26 subscribers. There's no better way to earn it. Where's the eye patch? You're done with the eye patch?
No, that was a one-time thing. We had 20 subscribers. I did my part. We still got to think about something for you for 50
Don't you
subscribers
put
now.
this on
We're
me.
on your
No,
turn.
that's not a one-time thing. It's got to be a recurring thing for certain situations. I just want to talk to you. I don't even want to talk about a chapter.
Why? It was a good chapter.
It was a pretty good chapter. Yeah, last week we had Kumachi, and this week we have Ginny. So 1097, just called Ginny. So we had a cover page. It was a request. I think this is like one of the first requests where I think it was literally just cut from the chapter and stuck on the front. But it was Kuma catching salmon in a river. So you see Kuma pop on some salmon, and Ginny's there with them, and then so are their like buddies.
I will say I did like the salmon that's like super shocked by the other salmon who Kuma just pop out away.
Oh yeah,
I thought that
it's
was
a
funny.
surprising thing. Yeah,
It's the first cover page I've even slightly cared about in a long time. Okay, let me have this.
it was the most normal one we've seen in a long time, which is saying
they
something.
were
It
they were
was
getting a bit
literally
unhinged.
transporting fish. I think we called it though, because last week's chapter, one of us had said we think the next chapter is going to be a mini time skip ahead to like an older Kuma and Ginny. And that's exactly what we got.
We were able to continue the flashback. You never know when Oda's going to cut away during these, but it seems like we're going to get a full one.
All right, so 8 years ago, or 8 years after the God Valley incident, that's where we pick up. And we have Kuma. He's a pastor now. He's basically taking the pain from old people and people in his little village area back at Sherbert or Sorbet. I don't know.
Sorbet, I think it's sorbet.
Okay, I like
All the
Sherbert
buildings are
better.
shaped like popsicles.
And he's literally just kind of removing the pain from people, and then secretly he is taking the pain for them. What do you think when you see that going on, Goldie?
Well, I was wondering where the pain would go as he was doing that, because you think back to Zoro taking Luffy's pain. It's like, all right, well, where would that bubble have gone if nobody consumed that? So then you see Kuma takes it in, but yeah, it was kind of a thought, just like what happens to that? Does it just float around in space until it hits somebody, and they're like, what the heck? Or like, where do these pain bubbles end up?
I don't know, but could Oda make Kuma any more of a martyr than literally a pastor who takes the pain away and suffers it for his people?
Yeah, no kidding. And he's a pastor who inherited a church from his dad and then took over the family business after being enslaved. Like, holy crap. I mean, we've had a lot of biblical references for Kuma, but I wasn't sure he was like I didn't see literal pastor coming in.
Yeah, no, it's a good. Yeah, well, it's crazy to go from slave to pastor to like Revolutionary Army fighter. Ginny's grown up. We see Ginny. She kind of gives me Nami vibes. Like she's a little bit like trying to get money from people so that they can get their donations for the church or whatever. So they're calling her a cheapskate and stuff. But yet the people really like her. It's not like she's a bad person.
Yeah, I agree. She had a lot of Nami-like characteristics.
And then we learn of the king of Sorbet Kingdom at that time, King Bakori. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Goldie. This guy's a real jerk. Okay.
Classic One Piece.
Yeah, he's a real jerk. Okay, he actually is a bad dude. He's really cheap. His only focus is paying the heavenly tribute or the celestial dragon tribute, so whatever the tax is. Um, and he's literally locking people up who can't pay, and some of them are apparently dying in jail. So again, just terrible government. I know you really get into kind of that part of stories, the government and the taxes and like the world building of the law. Did you like that? I mean, not like it.
You like that? You like that?
Well, it's interesting that it's incentive based, right? Because you have the top level government said that's taxing their subjugated governments, their vassals, basically. Um, so then their vassals have to tax their citizens. But also, even within that, you can have good or bad rulers that can either build a kingdom that can handle that or not. But you don't really have mid leaders in One Piece. They're all just either like benevolent, like King Neptune, or they're just terrible King Wapol kind of rulers. So it's one or the other. They're either just all in on like the world government's just like cruelty, pain, and torture, and high taxes, or they're practically fighting it, or just like rebelling. It's kind of.
Do you think? I go back and forth on this honestly. Do you think Oda does a good enough job of making gray areas of One Piece, or do you think it's really just you have the good characters and you have the bad characters, and sometimes the bad characters can become a good character? Like you're right though. It seems
Yeah,
like it's pretty
I mean, I
binary.
think he has some gray areas. Like the area where he does the best is where he portrays like the Marines have good and bad Marines, and pirates have good and bad pirates. So the idea
Mm-hmm.
that pirates are bad and Marines are good is wrong, and vice versa.
Mm.
That's kind of where he
Yeah.
does best. But when it comes to like individual characters, I can't think of many.
So I think you got it. I think at a population level, there's gray area with the certain groups, and then but at individual level, people are in the story are typically either really darn good or really darn bad.
So then we go 5 years later in the flashback. So it's 25 years ago. Kuma is now 22 years old. So Ginny's like 26. And this is it's kind of cute. Ginny says something like she wants to get married. But then it's kind of sad. All right, a little twist of an emotions here, because then Kuma thinks back to his Buccaneer origins and his he's kind of ashamed almost of his blood and doesn't want to pass that on, as he would feel guilty if he put his family in harm's way. So because of that, it looks like he does not want to get married, and especially does not want to have children, which is interesting when it pertains to Bonnie, who is his child, who looks nothing like him.
Yeah, that's pretty horrific. I mean, not wanting to have kids with the woman that you love because you're so traumatized from your childhood that you're afraid of your child would live through the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty dark.
we find out later, like in the flashbacks, as this keeps progressing, there is no like child Bonnie, even when we would suspect her to exist. So I guess the question is, does
Well,
Kuma's arc end with him like just solving the problem and like cloning Ginny so he has a little daughter, or
clone?
does he like overcome his past trauma and kind of complete his arc by accepting his Buccaneer roots and not letting that limit him? I don't know.
Or hear me out. Uh, we'll get there later.
Yeah, no, okay, a little teaser for 10 minutes from now. Okay, yeah, you sneaky devil. You put the eye patch back on. You've gone full evil. Uh, the other part of this part of the flashback is we read about Dragon, Monkey D. Dragon in the paper. And he's part of the Freedom Fighters. So we knew that from his history with Vegapunk. He was a freedom fighter. Uh, and he doesn't have a tattoo at this point either. So he hasn't tatted up. Kuma kind of makes the dedication or like the proclamation that he wants to dedicate his life to saving people and he wants to head out to sea. So I guess he's getting bored with the pasture life and taking everyone's pain and he wants to kind of take it one step further. I don't know.
Wants to take on the world's pain now.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Not much happens in that part, I didn't think.
Yeah, it's a lot of wholesome / horrific scenes, but not
Yeah.
not a lot of density.
Let's play some trivia. Let's bring it back this
Sure,
week.
down to do
It's
that.
got kind of a slower chapter, so we need to beef it up with our own idiocracy.
All right, let me go first. I want to see.
You want to ask first?
Yeah, I'll ask first.
Okay,
I feel like usually I answer first, so I want to mix it up this time around.
sounds good.
Let's just something completely random. Um, because I was thinking about a bunch of Kuma trivia, but it gets so specific. So we know the four seas outside of the Grand Line. We got northwest, south, east, blue. Can you
Mhm.
tell me which sea is widely known as the weakest sea, and which sea is widely known as the strongest sea in One Piece?
Oh yeah, really, really good question. Because I know the East Blue is the weakest, even though
Hey, you got one.
the monkey family hails from there, and it's currently the origin of two Yonko, Buggy and Luffy. So shout out East Blue. I think their come up, is good.
Yeah,
Um, the strongest sea. Good question. I don't know if I've ever really paid attention to that. I think maybe I would guess the West Blue. Ah, you sicko.
it's
What is
actually
it?
the North Blue. I'm
You're
not completely sure why. Maybe it's because we got Sanji and his crew, his OG family up there or something. But
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can get that question technically wrong if you don't even know why it's right.
if I don't know why it's right,
Yeah, exactly.
this
Yeah.
is a trivia question.
You're just making stuff up now. Yeah. Fact check them on it. Fact check them, newsies. Get on it. Get on it. Okay, let me ask you a question. So we get some dragon information in this chapter, and we know that Akainu hates Monkey D. Dragon like a lot. When is the first time we see Akainu, the admiral?
I think that's honestly Marineford.
Hmm. You're almost right, but not right. So,
Almost
yeah,
right.
yeah, no, it's actually in the O'Hara flashback. He is the one that like orders the ship with the innocent people on it to be
Really?
destroyed.
Was he in that? Or
Yeah,
is it just like his voice or something? Like, is he full on in that?
he is. He does not look like a Kainu that you know, like the one that does that. So he
Huh.
is in that. Yeah,
Man, I did not. I don't even think I knew that, let alone just forgot it. All right, let me ask my second question.
fine.
Can you tell me the in One Piece what the only predator of the Sea Kings are? It's an animal.
Oh, I was gonna say Luffy, the only
One
predator of
specific
this.
animal in One Piece that is considered the only predator of Sea Kings.
Huh? Give me a hint.
Uh, a hint that doesn't give it away. Um, Alabasta.
Alabasta. Is it like that giant worm thing? Desert worm snake or whatever?
You
I don't
think that they fought like with Ace or
Yeah, I don't know. I barely remember. Just tell me. I'm not getting it.
It's the Banana Gators.
The Banana Gators?
The
Those tiny
Banana
little
Gators, the
things?
Banana Wani. They're
No
not
way.
tiny. Yeah, the things that eat Mr. Three. They're considered the only predators of Sea Kings.
Man, I'm skeptical. Where did you learn that from?
Fact
Where are
check
you getting
me.
these trivia questions from? Where is you? Where'd you even think of that question? What are you?
This is we're into things you don't know about Alabasta now.
I can't with
But
you
I thought it
today.
was a fun fact.
I I think yeah, I think that's a dumb fact. I don't want to talk about it. Let me ask you a second question.
All right.
All right, so this chapter is also about the origins of the Revolutionary Army. We know that the Revolutionary Army's home base, Baltigo, was attacked and destroyed by Blackbeard pirates. Which Blackbeard pirate is the one that kind of infiltrated and gave up the location originally
The location of what?
of Baltigo? Which is who's the one that found it and then kind of relayed that information to Blackbeard?
What's his name? Crap. Isn't it Musclehead?
Yeah,
Uh,
are you asking me if it's the muscly dude?
yeah. I don't
Yeah, it
remember
is
his
that
name.
guy. Yep. Can you think of his name?
Burgess?
Yeah, yeah.
There we
You
go.
got it. Yeah, Jesus
Hey,
Burgess. He's like all crippled in front of the rock, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah, I
I found it."
slightly, I like very vaguely remembered that one.
Yeah, that was a quick scene too. So yeah, kind of cool. I hope. Yeah, I wonder. I never quite understood why Blackbeard attacked the Revolutionary Army. It hasn't quite made sense to me in the story.
Yeah, do we? We still don't really know what happened there either, do we? How
No,
the fight turned out, or who won, or who
we just
lost.
know that they had to leave there because they were found out. And Burgess, I think, he took some damage, and now he wears like a helmet or something. He wears like a face mask, like a metal face mask now. So he must have got wrecked. Got
And
like a dragon claw to the face.
it always amazes me how Blackbeard just fights everyone, and he still gets away with it. Like, you would think the whole world would just like everybody in the world, pirate or not, wants to kill this man.
He's a baller. I still don't understand story wise why he did that. So I don't know if we'll find out, but it seemed kind of like a random attack at this point.
My go-to is he just wants to steal another person's fruit. At that point, it's just like
Maybe,
it's
yeah,
just my Blackbeard go-to at this point.
maybe it has something to do with Ginny or something like that. I don't know. Maybe this will connect it.
That'd be interesting. All right,
All right,
that's our trivia session for today.
we did okay. All
No,
right,
but
let's
not at all.
let's go back to the chapter.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
finish this
Where were
strong.
we?
All right, so now we fast forward 3 more years, so it's just 22 years ago. In case you're wondering, Kuma is now 25 years old and Ginny is 29, which is how
So
old
many
I
times.
am.
Dang, fact check Jamie.
Yeah, dang. Okay, don't look me up, okay? Uh, so Kuma's pissed off because people have been kidnapped by the royal army. Uh, what happened was the king, that kind of d-bag of a king, uh, enacted a border between the north and the south part of the island, and basically said the southern part are the have-nots, and they're not really part of the kingdom. And he did that because apparently the heavenly tribute is dependent on the population. So if you just say these people aren't under our population, you don't have to pay for it. So he said, all those weak old people in the South who are poor, I don't want them. I don't want to be responsible for them. I don't want to have to pay for them. So just got rid of them. And now the royal army is there and basically trying to take them as slaves. So Kuma fights back. He kind of does like, it looks like an Ursa shock and blows up a lot of the area, ends up getting arrested, which I'm calling BS on. Like, how are any of these bros taking down Kuma? Um, so he gets arrested. He's in jail. Ginny and like their group get arrested too, trying to get him out. So that happens, And then who comes to save him, Goldie? Who comes to save him?
Yeah, we got our old buddy, old big brother. We got Yvonne coming in.
Big brother, big
Yvonne
sister. Choose your fave.
Does he? I wonder if he has his fruit at this point. He's gotta by that point.
Yeah, I mean, this would be plenty of years later, so I'd imagine.
Yeah,
And he seems to be pretty top tier on the Revolutionary Army or freedom fighter chain, so I would think so. So
yeah.
they show up, Dragon and the freedom fighters and Ivankov. Probably Ivankov was like, "Hey, this kingdom, I know a guy there," and they show up and they overthrow the king, and kind of help Kuma out because they're trying to recruit too. So, um, I think the most interesting part of this, other than the fact we learn a little bit more about the heavenly tribute side of things, is that Dragon is confirmed to be an ex-Marine. So
Yeah,
he,
that was an interesting fact. He just kind of casually passing by is like, oh yeah, I used to be a Marine, and that was
Yeah.
like, man, if you don't
yeah,
know anything about Dragon, that means nothing to you.
and he's kind of, I think, the same age as Akainu, and Akainu freaking hates Dragon. Like when Akainu found out that Luffy was Dragon's son, he was like, forget Whitebeard, forget Ace, kill that guy. Like he really does not like Dragon. So I wonder if they have kind of a significant history, or if Akainu really felt spurned by Dragon leaving the Marines.
Could be. I always just attributed that to Akainu having this strong sense of justice, and Dragon being the leader of the Revolutionary Army, which is directly opposing the world government. So
Yeah,
I
that's
figured it
true.
was that, but that could just be a surface level thing. Oda does like to do that.
Yeah, I hope that we get kind of a Dragon historical flashback, sort of like this, even just a quick thing to kind of understand him a little bit more when we do get to see him. So,
Oh gosh, we gotta. You can't
yeah,
build a guy up since Logtown and not dive into
I
it.
don't know. Nothing's given in this series. I'm always worried we're gonna not go over it. Kuma and Jinny join up with the Revolutionary Army, or the Freedom Fighters that eventually becomes Revolutionary Army. So that's kind of how that part ends, which I think we all saw coming.
Yeah.
Jinny's still alive at this point. I'm still worried about her. So, and then we skip forward 8 years later, which is now 14 years ago in the story. And for those keeping track, which is probably just me at this point, Kuma is 33 and Jinny is 37. This one shows Jinny. She is now the captain of the Eastern Forces, which is interesting. I'm not sure if this is because we know the modern day commander of the Eastern Forces is Bello Betty. So I don't know if Captain Commander are the same thing, but I don't see Bello Betty there. So my worry is, like we thought, Ginny's gonna die.
I mostly think, where's Bonnie? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've almost seemed to have settled on she's a clone at this point because it doesn't make sense. I mean, Ginny's 37 now. Bonnie would be 13 years old if Ginny got pregnant after this. Either Bonnie's a clone or she's 13 at the oldest.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. I think those are two options. There is a sneaky third option, which is a popular kind of Reddit theory right now. Have you heard of this one?
I'm gonna guess. Let me guess it.
Okay.
Ginny gets amnesia.
Yep, Ginny gets amnesia.
Hey,
She has the fruit, and she just like de-ages herself.
such a
There's
child.
also, and rather than her get amnesia, there's also the thought that whatever happens to her is very traumatic, and Kuma kind of paws her memories away. So I think right now it's either she's a clone, she's was born after this, so she's 13 years or younger, or she is Ginny, which I think is the least likely one. I would be very surprised. I think she's most likely a clone, especially since we know Vegapunk is tightly kind of tied to this all. So
And if she has amnesia, the child references become very, very confusing.
exactly,
Like
yeah,
the only thing that makes sense is like maybe they would call her a child if her memory was wiped and she had to like relearn everything starting from like infancy, but as like an adult.
Ginny at this point is like, hey, I'm excited because everything that we do gets me closer to Kuma. So she hasn't seen Kuma in a while. Uh, and then we get a brief little flash forward, and it's the Revolutionary Army headquarters at the time in Baltigo. And they're reporting that Ginny was captured. The enemy took them by surprise. So Ginny has been captured. So say your piece, Goldie. What's your dark theory?
Well, so all I was saying was we don't see that Bonnie has Buccaneer blood. So if Bonnie is Ginny's kid, is there a chance she's not Kuma's kid?
What do you mean by that?
But
Yeah.
she is Ginny's kid, and if she is Ginny's kid and not Kuma's kid, is there a chance that as she's captured, she is
Yeah.
forced against her will to conceive?
That would be the darkest thing that Oda's really kind of done, other than blowing up a whole island. So
Maybe
yeah.
the massive scale Hunger Games doesn't come close.
You are one sick person, Goldie. You read that and you think, oh yeah, maybe yeah. No,
Hey, all I'm saying is Bonnie's got to have Buccaneer blood, and this makes no sense. Amnesia actually would make it make sense, though.
but when she used that power, distorted future, she did have Buccaneer like qualities. So maybe.
Maybe we're overthinking all of this, and it's just that Saturn doesn't know about Bonnie.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I think it's still gonna end up being Kuma. What's the he gave himself up to protect Bonnie and her Buccaneer blood, like he always does. So do you think the next chapter is going to be titled Bonnie? I think we had a Kuma chapter, we have a Ginny chapter, and I think we're gonna get the Bonnie chapter. We're gonna find out. Do you have any ideas on who abducted her?
I mean, at some point 14 years ago in the East Blue. Is it East Blue? Because she's captain of the East.
I would
guessing. Guess government, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe like even like a CP organization, since this is Kuma related. But that'd be my best guess.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't tell you exactly who, but I think at this point it's most likely going to be world government affiliated.
But it's going to be good. We know it's going to be a horrifyingly sad chapter, as all Oda flashbacks are when they end. So prepare yourselves. Thanks, guys, for coming. Thanks for checking us out. Remember, this is Nakama News. We have social media. Go follow us over on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, at the Nakama News, over on all of those places. So go check us out there, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you, Newsies.
Nakama News.